Not much has changed in the way you frame a house over the last 100 years. On today's video, 3 advancements in framing that are taking us to the next century. Not much has changed in the framing world over the last 200 years in America. We've been framing with wood, specifically 2x4s and 2x6s for a long time. And you know, frankly, most houses actually have too much structure or too much wood in them. So on today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 advances, and the first one being right here. This is called advanced framing. You know, we've been talking about this for 20 plus years between green building classes and talking about energy efficiency, but I'm starting to see more and more builders like this one adopt advanced framing. These are things like right sizing the header and pushing it out so we actually have an insulated header, using 1 stud for the structure around the windows rather than 2 with a header clip, going with 24-inch on-center studs instead of 16-inch on-center studs. You know, most traditionally framed houses, they're about 25% wood on the exterior walls, and wood is only about R6 for a 6-inch stud, whereas this cavity here is going to get insulated with R19. So if we can reduce the amount of wood we're using in the house, it's going to cost less to build. We're going to check with the engineer, obviously, to make sure the structure is still the same, but now we've got better insulation value. We're going to be able to build the house for a little less money than we would, pass those savings on to our clients, and they're going to have a much more efficient house to begin with. Very cool. All right, second trend that I'm seeing. This one's fairly new, but I think this is really going to catch hold. BMC's Ready Frame program. You know, we're in a house that was built with that Ready Frame program. I did a video on this not too long ago. We'll put a link in the description on that. But basically, this entire house was pre-cut in the factory. When the framer showed up, there was bundles. There was a full map of the house. Everything was pre-engineered and pre-framed. So when these bundles for these walls came out, for instance, all the cripple studs, all the jack studs, everything was pre-cut and labeled. The framer put the house together like a big jigsaw puzzle. There was not a saw being used for the first several days of construction. Very impressive. A lot less waste in the dumpster. In fact, the dumpster when I walked in today was basically empty. And now we've got a house that has less wood, but we've thought about where everything goes. Very cool. All right, third trend that I see on this house, which is unusual, but I think is really going to get picked up with the code change, exterior insulation, but in a different spot than normal. What you're seeing here is the fiberglass facing on the back side of this insulation. This is polyiso insulation bonded to zip sheathing on the outside. This is called Zip R. I did a little video with these guys at the International Builder Show. They've got this in 4 different flavors. This happens to be the 1-inch thick insulation. Total thickness of the assembly, 1.5 inches. So now on the entire outside of the house, I've got a continuous R6.6. Very impressive. The other thing I like about that is now my windows can be set traditionally. I can set my window at the outside. I'm not worried about making a window buck or depth of foam. The siding contractor does everything normally on the outside. Very cool product. Now, if you don't happen to be a Zip fan or don't want to use their system, there's other manufacturers as well. This is BASF's version. This has Neopore bonded to 1/2-inch OSB, and there's a couple others out there. But it's interesting to see this insulation on the inside of the framing rather than the outside. I think that's a trend that we're going to see more of. Hey, for more from this house and to understand the differences between traditional and advanced framing, stay tuned for a future video. We're going to be talking about all the specifics this builder did over here. And special thanks to Mesger Homes for letting me tour this house today. We'll see you next time on The Rogue Show.